The SAT PDT pilot project is a project that's being run in two locations, two full depots in far north of Queensland in Cooktown and in St George. It's focused on remote communications and it's trialling it out in two depots so we could get a full feel for how effective it is in communicating in these areas where they literally have often no communications.
The trial's going really well so far. It's actually good to have something that works for our area, because in the past we've really struggled with communications with radios.
When I first came here, it was something to get used to, that once you leave the depot you won't have service for most of the day until you come back in the afternoon.
I think we had up to 4 radios in our utes, so it was all hit and miss and a bit of a pain really. Didn't know which one to grab half the time. So
we had problems ages ago with the old radios. You go to town and you lose your phone service. If we're doing switching somewhere and we can't get anyone with the old ones, we have to travel until we get probably 50 k's to get a signal to use it and come back, to get onto OCC.
It's really frustrating when we can't communicate with our other crews. We have a number of different sources of communication, and when we've exhausted all them, the only way to communicate is actually drive back, which costs you time and puts extra pressure on the job and the people around you to get the job done safely.
I know there's been plenty of times when stress levels do pick up a bit because you can't communicate with the people you need to talk to, and the less stress involved, especially when carrying out high-risk functions and duties, the better,
The beauty of SAT PT is it has coverage everywhere. All you need to do is be able to see the sky. Unless you're parked under a roof or a canopy, it just works, and it just works everywhere, and that's the feedback we've been getting.
The coverage is unreal compared to what we're used to in this area, and it's nice and clear. We've had a bit of experience with the P25 when we go to other depots, and it's nice and clear, and we come back out here to our old board radio, and this thing's a massive step for us.
We've been very impressed with the quality of the units and the sound, and even the satellite phone itself, part of it. It's been miles in front. It's almost like a normal mobile phone.
Yeah, Ian, how's it all going out there?
Yeah, good, Steve, really well. These things are working just as we would expect, really well. The areas we're talking about for the PDT over SAT installations has minimal P25 radio coverage. They do have P25 radios installed, which they can use if they roam into P25 coverage areas, but when they're in their normal operating area, the PDT over SAT product uses cellular and satellite. We've also installed a component of equipment which boosts the cellular signal into the vehicle. So we're trying to get maximum cellular coverage because it is a very economical mechanism to use. And then where they roam outside that cellular coverage, they go to satellite coverage.
Fleet are now taking on a major role within communications in the remote vehicles, particularly with the implementation of the comms plates which fit in behind the seats to ensure that everything is consistently and professionally laid out. And they've taken on quite a serious role in the provision of the major hardware equipment into these vehicles.
Typical installation consists of an Explorer 325 satellite phone, and then bolted over the top of that is the PDT over SAT box. It provides the group talk functionality. So it uses cellular as the primary mechanism and then satellite as the secondary mechanism. And there is a router installed between the two boxes, a smart router, which does the least cost routing function.
Because it's a service rather than needing towers and infrastructure, if you need to deploy a change or anything to the remote devices, it's a matter of making a phone call and it just gets deployed out to all of the units. So we've been able to deploy a fix just like that. First thing they come in the morning, they turn it on, the fix is loaded and away they go.
Definitely a lot more confident to go out in the back blocks, like hundreds of k's away if need be, because I just know that I can pick that thing up, hit the button, and someone will hear my call on the other end.
On the safety aspect, being able to communicate with the guys all the time and not guessing where they might be or what might be happening, and in the case if something was to go wrong and they needed to get in touch with myself or someone urgently.
We had someone fall off a property pole, and the communications to try and get through. We had no phone, all the guys on site had no phone service, had no radio service, so to try and contact emergency services was a big issue. Like the sat phone wouldn't work, nothing worked. Everything that could go wrong went wrong that day. It was a serious incident, so to have like a guy laying there injured and can't do anything, and sort of in hope that someone has heard their call to come out and help was a big factor for the depot. So we're always big on communications, because we've seen firsthand how it can all go wrong. So
it's been pretty close to all our hearts after that. You know, it's been a bit of an issue that we've raised a lot of times, and yeah, no, it's good to see something finally happen with it. So
it's also that time and cost factor. If blokes are going to a job and something happens and I need to turn them around to come back, I can get in touch with them, and instead of waiting an hour or so, or they're in the area and a fault call or something comes up there, I can get in touch with them pretty quickly and easily to go and attend.
It's a lot better communications than what we've had previously, that's for sure. There's a lot of black spots with the old stuff, whereas this, it doesn't seem to be any black spots so far.
A few of the guys have apparently spoke to Cooktown. We go over and help Cunnamulla a bit, so we've spoke to them. We've dialed into Roma a couple of times, and it's exactly the same as speaking to the guys around here. They come through nice and clear, and I don't know how far Cooktown is, what, 15, 16, 1700 kilometres away, but they come through as if we're speaking to them. Yeah, it's unreal, yeah.
Well, because the communication is so much more precise, there's less chance of any mistakes occurring with regards to misinterpretation. But one of the good functions I found on the push to talk is there's a replay button on the handpiece, and if you're not sure what was said in that communication on the push to talk part, you can just push that button and you can hear again what was said, which is good in crucial type communication when you are switching. So yeah,
they're user friendly, so they're definitely not difficult to use.
Yeah, it's just like a two-way really. Yeah, just press the button, talk.
Everyone can hear everything while you're talking, and if you're on big jobs or storm work, or everyone's tired, because we travel big distances, it's good just to even hearing other people's conversations. It keeps everyone awake and alert. You can have a lot of dramas, especially vehicle dramas. It's a good tool to have.
Well, the other added advantage too is the PTT is connected to a frog radio. So when you're out of the vehicle, you can use the frog, and it works just the same. Within about 100 metres, I think it is. You can see the vehicle or the unit that's calling, so you know who's on the air at the time. I must say, with this PTT, it's been awesome. Just give them a call, pretty much they'll hear you.
So the next step is subject obviously to getting approval to go forward, that the remaining depots in the remote areas, and quite a few along the edge, that is the edge of P25 coverage and the remote areas, will get this technology installed. I would expect over the next 12-month period, and then we'll also work on those that will travel coastal to the remote areas in that same period. We're also building those links between control centres and this technology, and getting the location services sorted out, and exploring FFA and what can be done with that further to see if we can actually get that to economically work in satellite coverage only areas.